My name is Gloria Calderón Kellett. I'm a first-generation Cuban-American actress, writer, director, producer. And with One of the Good Ones, I am the playwright. Well, the play is largely about identity. The name One of the Good Ones, it sort of interrogates this label that we've heard a lot. To be, what is it to be one of the good ones? Who in the play is one of the good ones? It sounds like a compliment, but really it's always loaded. And it's, a way of separating someone from their community in order to make them more palatable to dominant culture. And so the play explores kind of the cost of that dynamic, on families, on identity, on self-worth, on who you are, who you think you are, who your family thinks you are, how you're trying to navigate. So that's like sort of the all-encompassing, who are you, identity, how the world sees you, how you see yourself, how you see yourself in your family. All of that is under this blanket of a young woman bringing home the man she loves to meet her parents. Growing up, I did not really see my family as they were on television or in film. When I saw Latinos on TV and film, it was largely stereotyped. And then the moment I got to Hollywood, it all made sense because we're not telling the stories. We weren't. We weren't telling the stories, and that was clear because they were getting so much wrong. So for me, it was really an exciting opportunity to get to talk about from this perspective. I can't represent all Latinos. I can represent a point of view, which is what I do in my work. And that's what I try to do. I love the community. I love being called Latina, even though it encompasses, there's 20 countries under this umbrella of Latinidad. It's a blanket term to sort of speak about people that are of a Hispanic heritage. And, but once we get to the different countries, we're all very different. Our food's different, our music's different, right? A lot's different, but also a lot unites us aside from the common language of Spanish. And so when we come here, I also think in the United States, they all see us as one thing. So I don't mind holding hands with my brothers and sisters from other Latino backgrounds and have these conversations, because I think that what I have certainly learned the deeper I've gotten into storytelling is that the story matters. And people often will carry a point of view about swaths of humanity based on stories that they've heard or seen. So if I can do my part to correct the story, to make sure that it's authentically represented and that we're able to have these nuanced conversations on the American theater stage, I think that to me is a real contribution, because like you said, we haven't really gotten to see it a lot. I was fortunate enough to have Norman Lear as a mentor, and he was one of the great storytellers of our time. And he really believed in our common humanity, that we are more alike than we are different. He was very interested in building bridges through storytelling. And it's something that I'm very passionate about in my own work as well. I really want to build bridges. I want to show that, I grew up watching white families on TV. I was able to see the universality of being a daughter, being a mother, being a friend, I was able to see myself through white stories. The same can be true of the Latino lens. I think that what really thrills me, obviously the play will speak to Latinos in different ways, but what was fun about having it go up at the Pasadena Playhouse is there were plenty of people from very mixed backgrounds, and to see them enjoy the play too, and them see themselves in that play as well, really was the win for me, because it spoke to how universal families and family dynamics are. This play is about a family that loves each other deeply, but they cannot always hear one another. And so it felt really important to me because love isn't always enough. This is a family with generational wealth that grew up in Pasadena. The border literally crossed them. So they're from that land, the mother's land. And they, on the mother's side, is 6th, 7th generation Mexican. On the father's side is Cuban. And so the parents have different points of view because of their individual backgrounds. The father speaks Spanish, the mother did not, for various reasons that we get into in the play, that were things that I was hearing in my own life. So you'll get to hear about Latino identity, how different Latinos feel differently about Spanish, about English, about their guilt, about sacrifice, about intergenerational trauma, about strong bonds with mother and father and how those can be different. The reason why it's most potent in this moment is because we haven't ever really gotten to see Latino families have fights like this in front of people, you know, or talk about these things. I can't point at, aside from One Day at a Time and maybe Jane the Virgin, like there's so few shows that really talked about these things. So we're still doing a lot of the initial groundwork of showing these sorts of conversations happening in households. And my hope is that by people seeing these conversations happening, they will then have those conversations in their own life. My gosh, thousands of hours of writing character, and also of writing, of pulling things from my life that I think are interesting and finding a way to make it dramatic enough to sustain the audience through, you know, in this case, 90 minutes. So I think that my background certainly helped me to strip away and get really clear and find a way of really connecting with the audience and presenting really authentic characters very quickly so that the audience can go on this journey with this family. We just don't get to be in these spaces very often. So come and enjoy a big, beautiful production that the Old Globe is gifting us, and come and see 600 people sit with you and laugh about stories where we're on stage. These conversations that we've had in the periphery of our lives as Latinos, to see it in front of all of these people and get to laugh together and heal together. That's what I would say to somebody who's Latino. To someone who is not Latino, I would say, come, because you're going to learn some things. You're going to realize we have so much more in common than you thought. And you're going to laugh. Everyone's going to laugh. I promise laughter.